Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Their Excellencies, the Right Honourable Dame Cindy Kero, Governor-General of New Zealand, and Dr. Richard Davis.
Please be seated. E ngā mana e ngā reo, e ngā iwi o ngā haue whā, tēnei aku mihi mahana ki o koutou katoa. Nau mai hara mai ki te whare nei, ki te whare o te kāwana tianara ki Whanganui Tara. Kia ora mai tātou katoa. Distinguished guests, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to Government House for today's investiture ceremony. I'd like to specifically acknowledge Sir Jerry Mataparai and Lady Janine Mataparai, Mr Brendan Nally, Deputy National Commander, Fire and Emergency, Mr Joe Harawira, Government House Kaumātua, and Ms Puhi Wahine Tibble, Government House Kuia. Hosting investiture ceremonies is one of the most important duties that I perform on behalf of Her Majesty, the Queen of New Zealand. It's very special to bring together such an extraordinary group of New Zealanders. You have each brought pride and a greater sense of well-being to Aotearoa New Zealand through your outstanding achievements and your service to your communities. On behalf of all New Zealanders, I extend my sincerest thanks to you for all your contributions. After each recipient is honoured, I invite you to join with me in congratulating them. Ms Catriona McLeod will now summon the recipients and read their citations.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Knight Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Professor Sir Jim Mann of Dunedin for services to health. Professor Sir Jim Mann has pioneered research relating to non-communicable disease prevention and management at the University of Otago's Departments of Medicine and Human Nutrition since 1988. Sir Jim's epidemiological and nutrition-related research, published in almost 400 scientific publications and 90 book chapters, has informed world-leading interventions in the fields of coronary heart disease and diabetes. He's led committees that have developed international and national guidelines for the management of obesity and diabetes and cardiovascular disease risk assessment. Since 2015, he's been director of Healthier Lives, He Oranga Haora National Science Challenge, which aims to reduce the disease burden associated with 4 of New Zealand's major non-communicable diseases and achieve equity of health outcomes for all New Zealanders. He is a board member of the Heart Foundation and previously served as medical advisor to Diabetes New Zealand, having contributed to the activities of both organizations for more than 30 years. He's been appointed by the World Health Organization to lead and serve on numerous advisory groups and centers, including the Collaborating Center for Human Nutrition, the Nutritional Guidance Advisory Group, and the Expert Advisory Panel on Nutrition. Sir Jim was the inaugural director of the Edgar National Center for Diabetes and Obesity Research, helping to raise more than $120 million in research funding, and is currently co-director. Professor Sir Jim Mann, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mr. Roger Fox of Palmerston North for services to music. Roger Fox is a jazz trombonist who established New Zealand's preeminent big band, the Roger Fox Big Band. He's recorded 44 albums and performed in the United States, London, Singapore, Australia, and Poland at numerous music festivals and iconic venues with nationally and internationally renowned names. He is artistic director of the Queen's Birthday Jazz Festival, the Napier Jazz Festival, and the Manawatu International Jazz and Blues Festival. He organizes the judging panel and test music for the Tauranga Jazz Festival. He is a key driver of jazz nationally, encouraging young people and touring the country to deliver workshops and promote music. He has delivered numerous international workshops and masterclasses. Mr. Fox is a senior lecturer at Victoria University of Wellington and former senior tutor at Massey University. Mr. Roger Fox, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Dr. Jenny McMahon of Dunedin, for services to the Red Cross. Dr. Jenny McMahon has been involved with the Red Cross since 1983 and was National President of the New Zealand Red Cross. Prior to becoming President, she was a member of the National Board and served on a former regional board. She is currently patron of the Dunedin Red Cross branch and the Red Cross Choir. She's a member of the advisory board to the International Department of the University of Otago. She is a consumer representative on Mercy Hospital's Quality and Risk Committee and chair of the National Science Challenge, Healthier Lives. Dr. McMahon has worked with the Red Cross in a number of countries, including as regional nutritionist for Africa with the International Committee of the Red Cross. Dr. Jenny McMahon, please come forward. Mr. Malcolm Wong of Dunedin for services to the community and New Zealand-China relations. Malcolm Wong was Treasurer, Secretary and the Chair of the Fundraising Subcommittee of the Dunedin Chinese Garden Trust. He now chairs the trust, which built the only authentic Chinese garden in Australasia and gifted it to the city of Dunedin. He's fostered the Dunedin-Shanghai sister city relationship. He has supported the Lawrence Chinese Camp Trust, which records the history of Chinese and gold in central Otago. He is a trustee of the Chinese Tax Poll Heritage Fund, raising awareness of the history of Chinese communities in New Zealand, and was chair of Dunedin Shanghai Association. He's a councillor on the Otago University Council and a trustee of the Otago Community Trust. He is president of the Dunedin Club. Mr. Wong has been actively involved with Anglican Church organisations. Mr. Malcolm Wong, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mr. George Reedy of Havelock North, for services to people with disabilities and the community. George Reedy is chair of Peki Waihanga at the Artificial Limb Service. Under his leadership, the organisation has seen an increase in patient satisfaction, better outcomes for Māori and Pacific communities, a 200% increase in services and technology provision for amputees and those at risk of amputation, and the adoption of new technology device programs. He is CEO of Te Taiwhenua o Heratonga, which provides health and social services in Hawke's Bay. As CEO, he worked with various organisations to deliver 100 high-quality affordable houses. Mr. Reedy was a board member and chair of Te Huarahi Tika Trust, supporting the development of Māori technology startup groups. Mr. George Reedy, please come forward. Dr. Ken Romero of Wellington for services to hematology. Dr. Ken Romero is a consultant physician hematologist. He is founder and CEO of the charitable trust Myeloma New Zealand. He was an early leader in the care and treatment of AIDS patients in New Zealand. He has been an examiner in hematology for the Royal College of Pathologists of Australia. He was a consultant hematologist for the community laboratory and has been a principal investigator for many drug trials. He established the groundbreaking Auto-Transplantation Initiative. He's a member of the International Myeloma Working Group and has convened 3 international myeloma summit meetings. Dr. Romero has been a senior lecturer at the Wellington campus of Otago University Medical School. Dr. Ken Romero, please come forward. Ms. Rokhana Shoewood of Auckland for services to the community. Rokhana Shoewood was the chief executive of McLaren Park Henderson South Community Trust, establishing and developing 4 key programs: Hub West, a West Auckland community facility; Fair Food, a food rescue operation; The Tipping Point, a bargain store for pre-loved salvaged goods; and Studio MPHS, a STEM creative centre designed as an after-school space. She is chief executive of Belong Aotearoa, working to address systemic barriers to settlement by supporting newcomers, migrants and refugees who've settled in Auckland. Ms. Shoewood works with communities, government and other organisations in the non-profit and profit sectors to innovate and lead initiatives and provided a place to learn skills and gain experience. Ms. Rokhana Shoewood, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, Mr. Ted Howard of Kaikoura for services to conservation, particularly wildlife conservation. Ted Howard is a member of Kaikoura Forest and Bird and chairs Hutton's Shearwater Trust. He and his wife Elsa regularly monitor Hutton's shearwater and banded dotterel and have worked to protect them from predators. He was founding member and treasurer of Te Korowai o Te Tai o Marokura for a consensus approach to protection of the marine environment. He was a founding member of the Kaikoura Marine Guardians, and following the 2016 earthquake was representative to the North Canterbury Transport Infrastructure Recovery. Mr. Howard was a district councillor and has been a member or chair of several committees. Mr. Ted Howard, please come forward. Ms. Elsa McGilvary Howard of Kaikoura for services to conservation, particularly wildlife conservation. Elsa McGilvary Howard is chair of the Kaikoura branch of Forest and Bird and a trustee of Hutton's Shearwater Charitable Trust. She's been motivated by a concern that the local banded dotterel population might be declining due to unsuccessful breeding. She's presented research at the Australasian Shorebird Conference, the Braid Annual Symposium, the Wader Quest in the United Kingdom, as well as to many community groups. She takes part in environmental initiatives, including Braided River Aid and the East Coast Protection Group. Ms. McGilvary Howard was a founding member and chair of the Kaikoura Youth Trust. Ms. Elsa McGilvary Howard, please come forward. Mrs. Irene Mosley of Mosgiel for services to the community. Irene Mosley has held positions within Rural Women New Zealand at local and regional level. She represented rural families on the Queen Mary Maternity Services Advisory Committee, was a board member of Shelter Box NZ and chaired Chat Bus Otago, and was a major driver of Positively Clutha Women. She is a director of Mosgiel Rotary Club. She was Community Development Coordinator of Clutha District Council. She led the Otago Southland Chair in Neurosurgery campaign and drove fundraising for redevelopment of the Dunedin Hospital Children's Neonatal Wards. Mrs. Mosley is Chair of the Tairi Community Facilities Trust. Mrs. Irene Mosley, please come forward. Mr. Brian Vincent of Opunaki for services to Fire and Emergency New Zealand and the community. Brian Vincent has been a member of the Opunaki Volunteer Fire Brigade since 1960 and remains active in a brigade support role. He is president of the Opunaki RSA. He was an Egmont Plains Community Board member and continues as an advisor. He volunteers his time to transport people to hospital and other appointments in New Plymouth. He's a member of the Opunaki Lions Club and Opunaki Civil Defence Committee. With the Department of Corrections, he coordinates and oversees tasks for community service workers. Mr. Vincent volunteers with the Cape Egmont Lighthouse and Museum as a visitor guide. Mr. Brian Vincent, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture has concluded.
The New Zealand Honours System is our highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces those things that make our society better: service, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of excellence. To our recipients, it has been a privilege to hear of your stories. You have each used your talents and abilities to improve the lives of fellow New Zealanders. And in doing so, you embody the spirit of the whakatauki. Whai i te iti kahurangi, kia tūhau koe me te he maunga teitei. Seek the treasure that you value most dearly. If you bow your head, let it be to a lofty mountain. I urge recipients to wear your insignia with pride at every opportunity, knowing that you inspire others by your example. On behalf of the Queen of New Zealand and all New Zealanders, I congratulate you on your achievements, and I thank you once again for your service to our country. And just while I have a moment, I'll just point out that Sir Jerry Mataparai is the chair of the Healthier Lives. And the lovely recipient was the inaugural chair of Healthier Lives. So we've just got that sorted. So thank you, Sir Jerry, and all the recipients for the contribution that you make to our country in service. Kia ora mai, huihu mai tātou katoa. Now you will see on the back of your program the words of the national anthem in both te reo Māori and in English, and I now invite you to stand and join with me in singing it.